Today I'd like to walk through this sketchbook that got me into one of the most competitive schools in animation out there about 8 years ago. I filmed what's in here before. That was actually my first video ever on this channel, but this time I'd like to actually narrate it and talk more about why this got me into this selective school, what I learned through it, and what kind of the dangers are that you should look out for when you're also trying to apply like this. So let's get into it. So like I said, it's a highly competitive application process, and it's a lot of pressure and emotional work, and simply just nerve-wracking to have to send a full-filled sketchbook in like this. But the school has good reason to ask for this. You literally cannot hide the level you're at drawing-wise when you send in a sketchbook like this. If you have solid drawing skills, if you have creative ideas, if you really know and understand the fundamentals, if you also let yourself try new things and be explorative and playful, all will really show up in a sketchbook like this. And especially in times of generative AI, it's more relevant than ever. The core faculty at CalArts that does the selecting every year are all highly trained professionals and just really good draftsmen. So my guess is that they can probably spot generated AI in applications immediately. But if perhaps some applicants got really good at hiding the fact that they're using generative AI and maybe paint over it and stuff in their digital work, the sketchbook is where they will get caught. Sketchbooks will also inevitably reveal your mistakes and your messy art and your problem solving, and the not so great sketches, all the stuff that you would definitely just leave out of your polished perfect portfolio if you had the choice. But you're purposefully asked not to erase your construction lines and not to tear out pages and hide your mistakes, because the faculty wants to see how you solve problems as an artist. So if you feel like your pages are too sketchy, too messy, too unsure, and just not clean or polished enough, know that that's kind of exactly what they're looking for. That's exactly the reason why they ask for sketchbooks. A sketchbook basically gives the school an X-ray vision into what kind of artist you are. I mean, who you truly are. And if you're at the beginning of your art journey, you might not have the confidence or a lot of reasons to believe that who you truly are as an artist as a core is good enough, especially if you spend a lot of time online, like all of us do, comparing yourself to other accepted students, watching hundreds of these accepted CalArts sketchbook videos, or even comparing yourself to working professionals. But trust me when I tell you that you as an artist have incredible value already, even if it's still in a raw and unpolished form maybe. This might take years to actually realize, at least it did for me. But I hope you know that even at the stage you're at now, you have the capability to make art that is incredibly unique, that no one else can do except you, and that comes from the heart, and that is true and authentic, and therefore very valuable. Chances are you can't see that yet. Chances are that feeling might just be budding, but the faculty can see that. So if you're nervous about applying and feel insecure about your art, especially in this vulnerable, tender time, don't do what I did and spend hours over hours, nights after nights, just watching all these CalArts Accepted sketchbook videos. You might get inspired sometimes and motivated, and that's fine, of course. But the true answers that will get you into CalArts don't lie in this video, don't lie in all the other videos, they lie in yourself. And what sparks joy in your own unique life, in your own unique voice. Even though it's early in your career, try to trust that that is enough, and don't be too hard on yourself when you're applying. This is an especially fragile time, tender time, so it's important that you're kind to yourself. You can't make the art that you want to show out of a place of tenseness and fear and being self-deprecating. And if you do happen to be one of the artists that doesn't get in the first time they're applying or the second time they're applying, also know that many people go through this. This is also a normal part of application. Most students that go to CalArts had to apply multiple times. Again, that does not mean that your work doesn't have value or that you're not good enough or that you're doing something wrong. It might just mean that your fundamentals just at this moment might need a little bit more work, because if you're gonna do 2D animation, that is really important to have a level of fundamentals that you can work off to like turn a character in space and stuff, to kind of understand perspective, to kind of understand anatomy. That is all kind of the basis to get the most out of this very expensive program, so try to see it like that. So even though it's disappointing, maybe try to see it like that, and not as like you as an artist, as a person, has been rejected. One of my classmates actually got rejected, I'm not quite sure, 4 or 5 times even. And every year he just worked harder on his drawing skills, on his basics, and tried again and again. And when he finally did get in, he ended up having such a high drawing skill and design skill, and also such diligence, that he went on to be one of my most inspiring and successful peers, and even today lands amazing work and is an amazing designer and super established. And I think it was because he was held back in the beginning. So yeah, that's just a little note I wanted to say in the beginning, because this is a tender time and there's a lot of emotions that go into it. Without further ado though, let's jump into my sketchbook, and hopefully there's something that you can pull from it that helps you in the application process. Okay, here it is. Right off the bat, I can already tell in the way my font, the way I write, I have been in a very anxious place here when I started the sketchbook, which I think all of us are, and therefore I feel like the first pages are especially rough, because you're used to maybe a certain loose, playful kind of creating, but suddenly you know these first couple pages, they're gonna look at these and you feel the pressure and you want to perform well, and then you stiffen up and you can't drop into that loose drawing state. I still have that when people watch me drawing. I stiffen up a lot and I lose that playful energy that I like so much. So actually what I would recommend, and what I did here, is I filled in these last pages, the very first pages, kind of later, and left them blank in the beginning. Like these all I added after I've filled the first couple pages, because it was just too much pressure to fill the first blank page, and I recommend that to anyone else applying. So this was actually the very first page that I did, and I'm glad I did that. This was something I liked creating anyways. I was in a green, comforting space where I felt safe, where I felt like myself, and I recommend for anyone to start their first sketchbook page for CalArts in a place where they feel comfortable. Be that with friends, or in a library, or in nature, like here for me in Austria. It's just enough pressure already. Start with a little thumbnail just to make sure I got the composition right and stuff. And you're allowed to do that. You don't have to, like I said, make the perfect polished drawings in the very beginning. And I felt good after this one. I liked this one, so that kind of gave me momentum, and I moved on to doing some more sketches in Austria. I remember this was a waterfall. You can barely even tell. I was really insecure about that one. And now I was just kind of filling stuff in as I went. I think switching mediums is something that I like seeing at CalArts. That shows them that you're exploring stuff, but I did feel like I was switching around quite a lot, but maybe that's just my opinion nowadays. I don't like switching mediums that much anymore. I hear a common mistake that people make when applying to CalArts. I thought they want to see character designs as well, and designs and explorations, and they do. You can put some of them in, but mostly they want to see drawings from life and studies in your sketchbook. Also some drawings from imagination, sure, but I would keep this to a minimum. The world building, the turnaround, I was like, this is production stuff, because I thought, oh, CalArts, they want to see that. Storyboards and all that stuff. I think that's good to an extent, but if half or almost all your sketchbook is this, I would watch out, because mostly what they want to see is like studies from life, you know? Just, I really didn't know what I wanted to do when I went to CalArts. I was like, I like environments, I like character design, I like costumes, I like turnarounds, I like storyboards even. All of that gave them a sense that I was playing around and stuff and willing to explore and malleable still as a young artist, which is good. I like this page because if you've seen any of my other sketchbook videos, I still love doing that, drawing creatures with plants on their heads. And this is, I think, one of the first times I actually like dropped into that and let myself render these. Oh, that is a good point. I had a CalArts sketchbook that I was filling, and then I had a real sketchbook for myself on the side that I could like just doodle in and loosen my hand up and have no pressure and I did not have to make it pretty and stuff. And that is another thing I highly recommend, because that is actually one of the dangers of having a CalArts sketchbook, is that you get too stiff because you just want to perform so well, and every time you want to perform well you can like kind of permanently lose that looseness. I'll talk more about that later. These are some drawings in the zoo. They love that kind of stuff. Actual drawings from life. This was a study I did of a character designer, Chris Ayers, I think is his name. Here's some more drawings from life. The wolves and stuff. Like, they're not perfect. There's so much construction lines. There's so much insecurity, but there's movement in there, and I can see that I'm trying, and that is good. Every time I didn't know what to do, I would add and fill in lyrics. You don't have to fill every page to the brim. I think I felt the need to do that. I don't know if you can probably put way less in a page, it would still be fine. Here's some more character designs done in a weekend with my friends. I like that. I did little notes of where I was too. Like, these are just character designs, but me writing, hey, I was with friends here. It gives them kind of a sense of who you are as a person too, what you like to do. I remember doing these studies. This was like a foggy swamp that me and my friends stayed at in a cottage, and my sister and I got really inspired to do like this vampire comic idea, and that's what these are all for. Again, some story moments. It's also a nice change of pace to like fill the whole page in black. I would never ever do that nowadays, but back then I just wanted to show them that I'm versatile and I really didn't know who I was as an artist yet. So it's good to play around like that, I think. For that reason, I would also recommend using thicker paper, because it allows you to do like washes of ink, washes of watercolor and stuff. Here's some more sketches from there. Some sketches in watercolors from the swamp, some sketches just in ballpoint pen. It's funny to see, this was my boyfriend at the time. There's a lot of sketches of him. It's kind of nice to see that time capsule too. Snippets of my life. Here is some drawings at a museum that I did. So far I've had drawings in nature, drawings in zoos, drawings in cafes, drawings at museums, and I think staying versatile like this is always a good idea. It keeps it interesting for the viewer, it keeps it interesting for you as well. Here's some more drawings from imagination and stuff. More drawings from imagination. Some hand studies. Oh, this is a really good hand. I'm really proud of this one actually. I don't know if I could do that today. Yeah, and more drawings. But then back to drawings from life again in the zoo. I think having a zoo membership, having a membership for a museum, or like a bird aviary, just something that allows you to like get out there regularly and sketch regularly and fill your sketchbook with things other than just drawing what's on your desk and drawing what's in your mind, really helped me a lot. It's a little drawing of me, and here's the lemurs that I drew. More drawings from imagination, more drawings from the zoo, like always switching. I feel like more drawings from life, less drawings from imagination, but a few, but I do switch around, you know. Here's the paleontological museum. Again, drawing from real life, observing shapes, form, contour, contrast, all that thing. I was too scared to just go in with like a dark brush pen like this, so I did have pencil sketches beneath that, but I left them in, you know, to show them my thought process. Here's some cafe drawings, some drawings of my cup after going to the museum. Oh, drawings of our dog that passed away. That is cute. I forgot these are in here. And always little sketches of lyrics that I like, just because I was an angsty teenager around that time, and that gives me also like a sense of who I was back then. And like putting leaves into my sketchbook is something I haven't done in forever. I actually intended to do that this year as well. I pressed myself with some new ones here, but I haven't really gotten around to it yet. I think this is stuff I really just do usually here to just you know, stick out and impress people. Here's actually the tree where I collected the leaves and stuff. I like that it all kind of ties together like that. One of the reasons why I like my sketchbook, I heard, is because I had a lot of watercolors in there. That was my thing, and it still is today. And I think they could tell that. And then here we did something that I would also really recommend to people if they have the opportunity, because we're around about halfway through the sketchbook now, a little bit less than that, and I was just walking around drawing the same things at this point, going to the zoo a lot. So my dad actually had the great idea for us to just go on a trip, just me and my sister, solely for the CalArts sketchbook. So we went to Rome, we got an Airbnb, and that just gave a whole new spark of imagination and inspiration, because everything looked so different. We could see everything with a very different eye. So if you have the opportunity to go somewhere else, another state, another town, another village, another city, another country even, just to get that new fresh eye, that is really inspiring. Like, this was just like the back of our Airbnb, just like a random neighborhood in Rome, where we end up going and staying for 2 weeks just to work on this. And there's nothing special about that, because it's a new place, I could see all the details, and I was actually truly inspired, and I could capture all that. It started raining the first couple days that we're in Rome, and that was not ideal for doing urban sketching and drawing outside, but I still tried. It was really fun for me. The Bernini fountain, using a blue ballpoint pen here, switching it up again, but you can tell that I was actually freshly inspired and stuff. I like the birds, I like the little kraken creature and stuff. I just had a new view on things. This was in line to a museum. Oh, I actually love this one with the woman in the hat here and the people in line. These drawings I actually still really like today, because I can tell that I wasn't so anxious anymore, because I was actually truly inspired by this. We chose a city that has a lot of museums and a lot of art and a lot of great architecture for this, like Rome, and then we got ourselves tickets to the Vatican Museum and other museums, and we just went to them multiple times. So this was the first time in the Vatican Museum, and I didn't even draw statues that time. I was just drawing the ceiling and the wall, because that was what inspired me, and I knew I was coming back, so that kind of alleviated the pressure. I did do some 5-minute statue sketches, and then the evening in my Airbnb, I was inspired by Greek mythology and stuff, so I had this whole new wave of inspiration and stuff. So if you can go and travel wherever and absorb a new place, a new energy, and put that into your sketchbook, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It kind of gets you out of your head, and you can, in the evening, sit in your Airbnb like us and drink wine and draw Greek goddesses and gods, and that was just so fun. Oh look, I forgot my sketchbook. I forgot my sketchbook, so I did actually tape a page in here. You're not supposed to do that, but I kind of purposely showed hey, I'm not trying to hide a sketch under this, so it didn't work out. I actually forgot my sketchbook because I was so sad. I was here to actually draw in my sketchbook and then I forget it, so they forgave me for that. I think usually this is not allowed, so be warned. And this statue is just amazing. In the Galleria Borghese, it was beautiful. More drawings of just houses around in Rome. Here, this is what we spent most of our evenings on, just drinking wine and eating grapes and making pasta. Very Italian. It was a truly wonderful time, and I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. Still life is something I do not see a lot in sketchbooks, so if you're inclined to do that, by all means do that. A lot of people draw hands and characters and their environments and cafe sketchings and train sketches at CalArts, and that is wonderful. Please do that. But still life, I don't see too much. Also, a little note here that you see that I actually wrote down how much something costs. The €7 plus €3 shows that I'm getting more relaxed and more comfortable with this sketchbook, and I can tell on my lines here too. And I went to the zoo in Rome actually, which was so fun. Really, really happy with that one. Here comes one of my favorite pages, this one, because there's so much movement in that one, the wax pencil. I'm not sure, I never really know. They don't really tell us why they choose our sketchbooks or why we got in, but I can imagine that this is the reason why they liked my sketchbook because I actually do drawings from life and they're flowy, and this is exactly what my animation is. It isn't about making one perfect static image that looks wonderful in this one pose, but it's about movement and life and feeling, and that is what these pages entail, and I think that is why I like that one so much, and I think they liked it too. Again, something that will come with time when you get more comfortable in your sketchbook. Don't beat yourself up if your first page doesn't feel loose and playful and alive yet. Here, back in the museum, I think it's back in the Vatican Museum, statue. I'm sorry, it's back at the Villa Borghese. I painted it from outside here. I guess this wasn't the Villa Borghese then. Painted the outside, then drawing the sunset over Rome, though you can't tell because it didn't have watercolors on me, I guess. And you know, like doing comics, all inspired by the whole ancient Rome vibe. Yes. Back in the Vatican Museum once more. Here's another drawing of the ceiling. I just love the ceiling. This Laocoon is a famous statue and it was difficult to draw, but I'm really happy with that one. Yeah, I like that I drew in the people in here too. I'm so anxious when doing sketches like these for CalArts, or I was back then. But now that I look at them, I'm re-inspiring myself like this. This is wonderful. I wish I would do more of this now. Obviously, a sketchbook is a place to have fun and not just to make it pretty. And this was very much about making it pretty for me back then, impressing. That's not what a sketchbook should be about. But I do like the effort that I put into this. More drawings in Rome, back in the Villa Borghese. See, I kept switching between the Vatican Museum and the Villa Borghese. And drew the statues, but also the rooms around, people in the museum, just everything I could see. Oh, I'm really happy with these two little thumbnails in the park outside of the Villa Borghese. Wrote on the names of the places I was at. And then, you know, like, be like, hey, I was in this place, I was in Rome, and then going to like, hey, these are the character designs based on that. I think that is okay. If it was just this, I don't think I would have gotten in. Because, you know, back then my design skills just weren't that strong and stuff. But if I say like, hey, I'm trying to design, but I'm also working on my fundamentals and doing studies like this, they like that, I think. And they see, okay, I don't think of myself as a full-on character designer yet. I just like to play around, but I'm also working on actually building the skills and the knowledge. Another bridge in Rome, it's called Ponte Milvio. Writing down the locations. I'm really glad I did that now. It's also just more interesting for the people looking. This is actually by St. Peter's. This is where the Pope usually comes out and looks, and all the people. And here's on my way back, drawing people waiting for the train. This was on the way back. I like these a lot, actually. They have so much movement and playfulness. They're not perfect designs, but they're playful. And I wrote down that I'm like heading home now, people on the train, people of imagination. This was still in Rome. It kind of like tells a story a little bit, which I like. Yeah. Now we're back in Munich. Here I was at the Munich University picking my boyfriend up, I guess. I was drawing a statue in Munich, drawing animals again at the zoo, doing some more character designs. And then here comes something that I barely did enough in this sketchbook, I'm realizing, is life drawings. They love life drawings in CalArts, and I probably should have included way more in this. There will be more on this. Sketches of people, and here we come to actual life drawing, which they do love to see. Short poses, long ones, here's 2 minutes, here's 5 minutes. Longer ones, 10 to 15 minutes and stuff. This stuff they love to see, and I should have put way more of that in my sketchbook, because that is just such a way of showing people that you're growing and you're learning. If you do life drawings, that is kind of a basis for CalArts Character Animation. That is why it's so much of your curriculum. You do like 6 hours of life drawing the first year or two at CalArts, because it builds the fundamentals to actually animate a human figure someday. I like, again, that here I do drawings of figures from real life, and then I apply it into drawing from imagination and stuff. I don't know how intentional that was, but I think they like that they can see, okay, I'm learning something and then I'm applying it into my drawings from my head. Here's some thumbnails of my sister, little story moments that maybe they didn't even catch, but they mean a lot to me now. Here's back in the zoo. This is a Kiang, a horse from Asia, I think. There's a new elephant house. I think you can tell that here I was kind of running out of energy and running out of ideas as well. One more drawing of my sister. I really like the little drawings of me in the sketchbook throughout, just to tell a story, just to make this not just about the drawing, but also about me and my story and stuff, and so that I'm not just like an untangible applicant. Studies from skulls, studies from real life. I was back home again, and it was winter at this point, so it was hard to do studies. This is our kitchen and stuff. I can see that I was running out of ideas to paint. Back at the zoo again. Like, it really helped to have that subscription and be able to go back here. Little sketches on a drive, drawing my boyfriend driving, and drawing whatever I saw outside of the window was also a really fun idea. Yes, some drawings of a dog. Oh, I remember this was at Thanksgiving at a friend's house, I believe. Yeah, and then I ended it on a sketch of Schloss Neuschwanstein, just because that is a landmark that a lot of Americans know, and this was where me and my boyfriend were driving. I intentionally ended on this page. Like, this was actually the last page I filled, I believe. But I did this one before, but just so it's not so much pressure to have this last final white page. That's why I did this one beforehand, if that makes sense. Yes. I want to quickly also jump in and talk about a potential danger of having the CalArts sketchbook be the only sketchbook you hold during the time of application. Having two sketchbooks, one to be loose and playful in and just do whatever I can and not be fearful, really helped me to not tension up so much. I talked to many people who got into CalArts even just recently and said that it took a lot of time for them to actually heal their relationships to sketchbooks after doing a sketchbook that was solely performatory, like the CalArts sketchbook is, because it rewires your brain to be like, oh, drawing the sketchbook is to impress people and not to actually play around. You need a place to play around and have fun and explore and try new things, and to shake off that stiffness can be really hard work. And I think I felt that too, definitely, after applying to CalArts and sending the sketchbook off. It took me years to actually find that loose enjoyment in my sketchbooks again, which is kind of the downside of this really smart way of applying. But what really eased that for me was having two sketchbooks, even though that might sound like a lot of work. If you do half an hour of sketching just for fun and then jump into your CalArts sketchbook and do a page, and then you end in your sketchbook for fun again, and you sandwich this drawing that needs to impress people inevitably with drawings that feel like you and drawings that are for fun, I feel like that effect of keeping that stiffness and staying focused on impressing people rather than being your true self is a little bit softened, if that makes sense. Alright, like I said, my hope is that you found this hopefully helpful and inspiring and not demotivating. I'm not trying to tell you how to make your sketchbook. The point of your sketchbook is to make it about you and who you are. That is what they care about. You do not have to make it look like mine. You don't have to make it look like anyone else's. Just find whatever inspires you at this time and let that inspiration, that true inspiration, shine through in your drawing. So for me, I was so passionate about drawing in zoos, about drawing in museums. Nowadays, it probably would be more full of life drawings. You change and there's different seasons, and the CalArts sketchbook is a place where you can embrace that season and not fight who you actually are. That will be a continuous battle throughout our creative career, I feel like. But yeah, I hope you're not too hard on yourself when applying. I hope you're not too nervous. I hope you're not too fearful when drawing. If you are, know that it's absolutely normal and everyone feels like that. But you will get in the groove of things. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I'm thinking of you all. I'm rooting for you if you're in the application process. I know it is rough, but I'm sure you'll be learning a lot, and I hope you're not too hard on yourself. Alright, thank you so much for watching. That's all from me. Bye bye.